Hello everyone. Today I would like you to show how you're going to submit your assignments or do them on Circuitverse. So this is your main page, and I'm having two windows open because one of them is the account of a teaching assistant and one of them is my account as a student. So I would like to show you how you're going to make your submissions here. So on the student side of thing, you after you have joined the group, you signed in successfully. So you go to your account, go to your dashboard. These are already submissions I made last time. So you can see your submissions here. They are mostly private. They will be private in your assignments. Please don't make them public, because if you make them public, everyone can see it. So that's fine. So now once you click again in your ID name, you'll have a My Groups option. Go to your My Groups option. There are two groups because I was in the group last year. In last year's group, there is also a group here which I've added myself here. So when you see your group here, click on View. I can see that some of you have already signed up, which is a very good thing. You can see the assignment here. Assignments will be uploaded regularly depending on, and you will have your problem statements once you click View. Once you click View, you can see the problem statement here and your deadline too. So now if you want to solve, you just click back here and you can simply go on start working. When you go on start working, this is your assignment window which is created now, your solution window. You have to use this to solve. Do not make an own private window and solve. Do not make a new circuit, private circuit and solve. Now when you do this, you have to click on launch simulator. That's why it's important to go through that process rather than making your own answers. Cool. So now we are here in Circuitverse. So I want to create a circuit here. So here there are different circuit elements. Go through the documentation present in circuit. It's a pretty good documentation here. You have different kind of inputs. This is a simple bit input, 0 1 bit changing. This is a button switch, which is basically you have to press the button, and you can remove by simply hitting it and clicking delete, hitting delete on your keyboard. There is a power source. There is a constant value, because sometimes, like since you did some questions on muxes in the previous assignment, you saw that you need to have a ground value or a 1 value. So that's why you need constants here. There is a counter and a random generator which will be later used in your assignments, so you don't have to worry about them now. So you have outputs here. Outputs are simply, this output is nothing but let me show you with an example. See, I've taken this input, right? So, and it's pretty easy. It's drag and drop on the circuit, and then you can join wires using just by clicking here and dragging it. Okay, so click on 0 1. See, this is output, means is transmitting whatever the logic output is. So since this is a direct live wire and these are all idle wires here in Circuitverse, so it's gonna output 1. Cool. So this is one kind of an output. There is also another kind of an output. This is called an RGB LED. This has 3 tooltips to indicate what kind of a color you want. And this is the digital LED. This is a simple LED which is going to glow, I think, red. Yes, it's red. If you click on the circuit element, if you look at here, you can see the color options here, red, yellow and whatever. So you have delay. Delay will understand later why, or later in the course, or maybe you have started delay right now. And the label direction, what's the label direction? So you can add labels to it. My LED. Now see, this label is not clear. It's pretty tough to see. So what you're going to do is use label direction to click on right, left, up, down. So this is simple, right? So this is pretty useful to label your diagrams. It is preferred that you label your diagrams when they get too complicated, just by clicking here. In the switch, this is again an input. This is a hex display. You do not, I think you are given a 7 segment LED display. This is not the 7 segment LED display. Please mind that. So this won't work here. See, you need a hex display, so it needs a bit. So Circuitverse will also report the error for you. The bits are incompatible. You need 4 bit, but you're giving them only 1 bit. And please be careful in wiring. Sometimes this kind of error happens, so the connection is not proper. So you have to be very careful in your wirings. This is a 16 segment. Please do not try this now. Try a 7 segment. This is 7 segment. Use your book to know more about 7 segment LED displays. But it is a pretty useful tool you will use later also. Now this is the section. This is the output section. This is the section for gates. We have all the classic gates, AND, OR, NOT, NAND, XOR. I think XNOR is there too. So once you click on the gates, you can see the bit width. Bit width is sometimes it's for a single bit this works, right? So you can increase your bit width if you want. Like if you want to have a 2 or 3 bit input at once, sending it like here it's a 3-bit input, so you can just send it directly. And there is like 3 inputs are doing an AND. So input size also there is a 3 input AND gate, 4 input, 5 input, 6 input. It's not preferred to use more than 4 or 3 inputs. At max it's always preferred to use 2 inputs practically, but you can use 3 and 4 if you want, just to make your circuits cleaner. Again, label direction is just what I showed you. Direction of AND gate. See, the AND gate is here, right? You might want to have a circuit which is tilted towards up, so change the direction. And be careful, first set your direction and then do the wiring rather than the opposite. Cool. So this is clear. So if we now you understand gates, decoders and multiplexers, I don't think so you need to use it. Even if you need to use it, it's not preferred. You have to make your own decoders and use it until and unless the question involves decoders, then you can use your own. Yeah, you can use the ready-made decoders here. Otherwise, it's preferred that you make your decoders and use them as elements. So annotation is there. Suppose you want to show an arrow like this or something like that, or you can want to add an image. So it's useful for that. Text, you want to add in text. This is my workplace. So something like this. So it's a pretty useful tools. Miscellaneous, there are some flags and adders in ALU which you don't need right now, but a splitter. Splitter is important. Splitter is what? Like sometimes you have a single like an entire like a long bit input, and you need to split it into 2 halves so that you have to pass it through different gates. So if to apply, suppose I have a 16 bit and I want to split it. How do you want to split it? 1 1 1 1 1 1 or 4 4 4 4. Let us try 4 space 4 4 4. Hopefully it works. Yes, it works. So if you take an input, if you try to connect a 1 bit input, this won't work. So here you take bit width, make it 16. Now it will work. So here it is split. 0 and 3 are different lines. This is a different line. This is a different line. This is a different line. If you're not comfortable with splitter yet, use separate like 4 bit input. But sooner or later, you will learn how to use a splitter. So go through the documentation more. You will soon understand and feel it easy to use. So I think this is pretty much it for the introductory part of Circuitverse. Hope you're able to set it up soon. If you have any queries, feel free to DM us anytime. And so before we go to your assignments, I didn't show you much about the tools. See, this is one of the how you make modular circuits, right? So I said you have to make modular circuits. So this is one of our assignments which we had last year. I'm not going to go much into details for it. It's an ice cream vending machine. Maybe you will get this assignment soon too. So here, see, this is a block, right? This is a block normally connecting. So this block is what? Main, coin, reset, see. So this is my main. This is again made of blocks. Now this is made of output logic, register and next state logic. So next state logic is here. This is my logic gates. The structure of my logic gates, right? Output logic. So this is what modularity means. So what you can do is like you can make a circuit here and then add it as a module. So before I do this, I'm going to show this in a new window. So this is why we're using. See, I use image tooltips. This is a box which can be done, which can be drawn, a rectangle can be drawn using annotations, I think. Yes, annotations. These are images which are uploaded and added. So you can upload and add images, which is not necessary for your assignment right now. And these are the text tips I use so that like to write the necessary points to explain my circuit or my answer. Okay, so this is where the remaining of the tools are used. So to show, like I can show you how I used an arrow. So I will show you about the modules before we get started, before you start your assignment. So here, suppose I have this kind of a thing. I have an this is my pretty broken circuit. And I'm going to take an output here. I'm going to take some gate. OR gate. This is not necessarily a working circuit. I'm just showing this for demonstration purpose. Okay, so this is the internal circuit. Let us say click on plus, you write super circuit. Let us name super circuit. Super circuit. So now if you click on edit layout, you can change the circuits layout too now. That's a nice one, nice feature you have. So yeah, so this is timing diagram. Timing diagram you don't need it now. See, so now you go to super circuit, right click on your workspace, click insert sub circuit main. See, this is a block now. It has two inputs because there are only two input gates and there is one output. This is how you do the modularity of the circuit, right? This is the internals of the circuit. Now you're making modules of it and you're using it in separate circuits. So wherever you need to do modularity, feel free to do this. And the circuit mostly auto saves most of the time, but it's better you click save online rather than offline. You can do both if you want, but rather than click save online, you have to write a project name, demo DDTA. Fine. So this is my normal project, so demo DDTA. This is fine. So this I did a normal new simulator, right? So it's not preferred that you do that. Better you go to my groups, go to your group, okay, then click view your work, click view your work. Now this is created, right? Launch the simulator, start working, take inputs, take some gates. Let us take an OR gate for now. OR gate for now, take an output. Fine. So we did this. Now it's preferable you click always save online. Oh, project name, why? Okay, shouldn't be have the project name, but fine. So if you click refresh, yes, this stored as untitled. I shall go here and click view your work. Just verify it once. That click view your work and see. Yeah. So now, why you need to do this is now when I go as a teaching assistant or a professor, when you're going to check or check your assignments, we'll click on view here, and we can see people here, like whether there are submissions. I can already see some of your names here. My name is also there because I made a new window here. See, I can see the submissions here. If you make more circuits, it will show up here, so I can see and grade you. Fine. So I think this should be pretty much it. I want to edit here. Okay. So this is my own options here, so I can view your assignments and grade it now. Okay. So I hope this clears most of your doubts here, and start working. If you have any doubts, again, feel free to ping us. Thank you.